UFC 315 is coming up this weekend, man. Today, I'll be going over my early predictions for the whole entire card. Official predictions will come out on Wednesday. Pretty solid card last time out. You know, D-Rod and Kwong Lee came through, and that's all that matters. I told everybody, no matter what, Santiago Ponzinibbio, he's chin, man. I was so insistent on it, and I knew it was going to happen, man. It's just one of those things. Even D-Rod, I know he doesn't have power, but KO was like plus whatever it was, 450. I made sure I put that in my leg as well as the money line. But anyways, man, this card is actually, like, when you do in debt, it's very, very good. Anyways, man, let's get right into it. First up, I know that one of these fights fell out, which was Benoit Saint Denis versus Joel Alvarez. Alvarez is out. I've heard some replacement, maybe some replacements, either Mataus or Becky would be unbelievable. I'd be incredible. Or I heard maybe Ruffy potentially. We'll see. But anyways, let's get right into it. The first fight up, my goodness, man. I mean, if you are going to this fight card, get there for the first fight if this is it, man. Please, I'm telling you. Daniel Santos taking on Jeong Lee. I mean, this is just a barn burner. Daniel Santos was booked against, who was it? Davey Grant, right? And he's had a lot of pullouts. I don't know what's going on with him. He's got two fight win streak, lost to Julio Arce where he got just tuned up by a better, slicker striker. And, man, Daniel Santos has dog inside of him. You know what I mean? He's going to pressure you the whole fight. He is very good cardio. He has good volume and pushes the pace a lot, man. You know, this is a similar kind of matchup for Jeong Lee as a Haider Emil in some sense, right? You know, Johnny Munoz, not the best win. I mean, Johnny Munoz, like, I don't think he's in the UFC anymore. He's like a jiu-jitsu guy. The Castaneda fight, a little bit hairy early on into that fight, but his forward pressure just broke Castaneda down, and that's what this guy kind of does, you know. He's a little bit of an interesting kind of fighter, not the most technical, but he's tough. He's going to walk you down, endless pressure, and yeah, man, he's just a dangerous fighter. Now, this is going to be interesting because I don't know much about his ground game, but Jeong Lee coming off that first round knockout against Haider Emil, which was just crazy, man. Now they're giving him Daniel Santos. He was originally supposed to fight Gavin Tucker. That would have been a much easier matchup for him because Daniel Santos is he's going to just nonstop pressure. Let's see what these odds are. I don't know. They might not have them. They do. Plus 120 on Jeong Lee. Both guys are probably relatively on a full camp. I know, you know, Santos had to pull out against Davey Grant, but he's still training, I'm assuming, or been training. So we get this fight. Haider Emil, just a tough fight, man. He came out swinging, Haider Emil, and crazy knockout. I actually took the under 2.5 in that fight, which was like, I think it was maybe, oh my goodness, it was like minus 125, and it was, as you know, it cashed very easy. That was one of my better cards, whichever this one was. Lemos Jandaro, but yeah, I did really well on that card. I think that's where Cody Durden got knocked out by Bruno Silva. But anyways, Blake Bilder, pretty solid win there. You know, pushed the pace well. You know, fought well. Just stuff Blake Bilder's takedown attempts. And Blake Bilder's nothing special, of course. You know, he's not great. But this win over Yehiza is a good win. Yehiza is a good fighter. And split decision. And I do believe that there was some sort of health issue going on. I think Jeong Lee had to get surgery. Now, Jeong Lee, he is very athletic from what I remember. He's fast. He has power in his hands. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So I think that this fight's relatively close, as the odds will state. I'm just going to have to go back and look at it. But early on, I do kind of lean Jeong Lee. I think that he hits harder, and I just worry about Daniel Santos, you know, if he's in front of a powerful guy, because he's been rocked, he's been hit hard a lot and wobbled a lot, and that concerns me. He has a tendency to run into punches, and his defense is not great, but he makes for a fun fight every single time. So it's going to be an extremely fun fight. I'll be looking at the under in this one. But Jeong Lee will be my pick early on. I like the athleticism. I like the speed. I like the power from Jeong Lee. I'll take him early on here. Let's move on to the next fight, which is going to be Modestas Bukauskas taking on Iwan Cutelaba. Now, this is a tough one to go. I can see why to pick him. Modestas Bukauskas, I feel like he is improving. Now, I still don't think he's that good, especially when you look at Modestas Bukauskas, like, film when you watch him. He's not that great. He's on a 2-fight win streak. The Marcin Prachnio win, not very steady. Now, I actually did bet him to win this fight by third round finish, which was kind of a snipe, but the Coqueiro one, pretty good finish. Vitor Petrino put him out cold. And I don't know, man. It's just his wins don't impress me all that much. He actually, I think this Pauga fight was actually a very close fight, if I remember right. And he ended up getting the nod there, and a lot of people were upset. I just don't think that highly of Modestas Bukauskas. And as of lately, man, Yeong's been cashing me a lot of money. You know what I mean? I picked Yeong to beat Ivo Erslan and Ivan Erslan, which has been amazing. The Ivo Aslan one was a great win. Beat that dude's ass. 31 years old. He's a veteran of the game, and Yeong seems to be improving his striking. Now, he struggles with leg kicks. That was very much known after Felipe Lins tore his legs apart, but he's always tough. He's always durable. He's got very fast takedown entries. He's powerful. I'm going Yeong, man. I just don't think Bukauskas is all that good. I think the guy reacts to strikes very weird. I think when he's put on the back foot or in front of a guy that's very dangerous, he's not very good. Also been knocked out quite a bit. I know Yeong has been knocked out quite a bit, but that's to better fighters. And as of lately, man, he actually has been looking better. The gas tank has looked better from Yeong. He looks like he, is more patient, not as wild, not as chaotic. He kind of seems to be coming together as a fighter a little bit. And this fight was great from Yeong. He, took Ivo Aslan down and submitted him. And, yeah, man, he's been looking pretty good. I actually think the win over Erslan's quite good. And I'll get to that when that fight comes up, because I have been watching a little bit of film on the Stirling and Erslan fight, and I think we might have something there. But I'm going to lean Yeong here. This is a tight fight. I could see it going either way, but I think the wrestling of Yeong could do some good things here. So we'll go with Yeong, and we'll move on. Here it is. Navajo Stirling versus Ivan Erslan. Now, I don't know how I feel about this fight. Navajo Stirling is minus 310. I think he had an underwhelming performance in his last fight. I mean, I don't think anything when I think of Cutelaba. I think he's very bad. I think he's a guy who should be finished all the time in every fight. This guy is coming from a city kickboxing, Muay Thai background. He's a pretty good striker. I'm not going to sit here and act like he's the best striker. His takedown defense is unproven. I don't think that he is some guy you just can't stand with. And as shown in the Cutelaba fight, Philip Latu was catching him with some good shots, and Philip Latu just ran out of gas there. I don't know if I'm that high on this guy, honestly. I had him in my prospects list, but he was there. He was like, in my top 20. Top 20, I feel like I had to put a light heavyweight there. And while I just don't think this is a relatively good matchup for Navajo Stirling, because at one end I can see him, kicking his way, doing pretty good, and he probably is the better striker. But Ivan Erslan is not some walk in the park, right? This guy was a title challenger at KSW. He's fought some good fighters over there. Ibragimov Chuzigayev is actually really good. Like, he's a very good fighter at KSW. And I think Chuzigayev would come over to the UFC and be a top 10 light heavyweight without a doubt. He's very reminiscent of an Azamat Mirzakhanov. Now, Ivan Erslan, what he likes to do is pressure into, extend combinations. He's dangerous. He hits hard. And he's got some issues when it comes to his durability. He does get dropped often. He's only got one TKO loss, but he can be hurt. He can be finished. The last fight versus Ivan Cutelaba is split decision. Now, I just don't think this number's right. Minus 310 for Navajo Stirling just doesn't sit with me well, especially coming off a decision win over Cutelaba. I think Erslan's much, much better. He's got a lot of experience. He trains with he's trained in the past with Alexander Rakic. He's dangerous. He hits hard. He actually is a guy who can check leg kicks well. There's not much things I don't like. I think he might be able to wrestle here as well. We haven't really seen Navajo Stirling tested, and when it comes to a solid big guy who can mix it up. Tuco Tucos, I think he's horrible. You know what I mean? So I don't think this number is right. And for value reasons, I see this going up, and I'm not sure why. Man, I can't get behind this 310. I can't do it. I don't think this guy's parlayable. it's just a weird matchup for him, and I think that Erslan can actually do some good work here. I'm gonna go actually early on Ivan Erslan. I don't think that obviously I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board a little bit more because I haven't watched it as much as I needed to, but man, I don't think this is just a walk in the park for Stirling. I really don't. And minus 310 is what it seems like. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go Erslan. I think he might be able to mix in the takedowns. He extends combinations well. He's got power in his hands. So, yeah, man, I think this fight to end inside the distance also going to be something nice I like to see. So we'll go with Erslan early on here, and we'll move on. Oh, man. Jasmine, Jasudavicius, Jessica Andrade. Oh, my goodness. Jessica Andrade, she's not horrible. It's just like, is she going to be able to stop the takedowns? I feel like she's just too small, man. And I know, and Jasmine's just big. She's big. She's tough. I'm just going to go with Jasmine to get the takedowns here. I don't really know, to be honest with you, but let's move on. Mike Malott, Charles Radtke. Shit, what's the odds here? I can't. I'm going Charles Radtke, bro. I'll talk about Radtke first. I like Charles Radtke. One, he trains at Valley Flow, and I love people who train there. Belal's camp. This guy, he's gonna be prepared. He's a good grappler. He's a pretty decent striker. He's got a couple losses. One to Carlos Prates, not bad. But this guy's left hook is dirty. Gilbert Ubrina, he knocked him the fuck out with it. He knocked, Matthew Semmelsberger out with it. This performance wasn't great against Blood Diamond. But I just kind of think that he's actually pretty good. He's got good grappling. He's got solid, big striking. I just don't think Malott has looked good, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Malott, even in the Giles fight, did anybody think he looked good? Malott's good submission skills, pretty good power in his hands. He's got some good kicks, but he just looked uncomfortable against Trevin Giles, and we know he can be broken, right? Neil Magny broke him down. I thought the Giles performance kind of sucked. I think if Trevin Giles was actually there, fighting, throwing, he would have lost that fight. And his wins don't do anything for me, right? Mickey Gall, not great, getting pieced up again in that fight. I don't even know who this dude is. Johan Lanisi, he might be fighting in street beefs right now. Adam Fuckett, not a good win. So I guess Trevin Giles is maybe his best win, and it's not that great. You know what I mean? I don't think he's this guy that everybody seems to think should be a minus 240 favorite. Give me Radtke here. I don't think this pick is changing. I expect this line to potentially go down. I don't understand this. Makes no sense to me. I thought that Malott looked like shit against Giles. So let's go ahead and go to the next fight, which is the worst fight on the card by a lot. Marc-Andre Barriault taking on Bruno Silva. Both of these guys are on massive losing streaks. Barriault got put out cold by Joe Pyfer, and then he got put out cold again by Dustin Stoltzfus. And these wins aren't bad. The Curtis one, he danced around the octagon, didn't do anything. And then the Pyfer one, got knocked out cold, didn't get anything going. And his game is to push you, break you, but his durability's gone. You know what I mean? It's just gone. He got destroyed by Stoltzfus. I just worry about this guy's durability. And while Bruno Silva is honestly horrible, and he has looked awful. What is he on, a 4-fight losing streak? 4-fight losing streak. This guy lost to fucking Chris Weidman, man. Okay, like, what are we doing? The Brendan Allen one, not that bad. And, what is this one? He's won, what? 1 out of his last 7 fights? Are we fucking kidding me? The thing I'll give Bruno Silva is he's powerful. Now, I think Barriault should be the favorite. Wherever this fight is, where is this? Minus 145. Marc-Andre should win, but you see these 20 KOs for a reason. And with the fading of Marc-Andre Barriault, man, I just can see him getting finished. But dude, I can't tell you how bad Bruno Silva has looked so fucking bad. Like, this dude lost to Chris Weidman. He lost to Chris Weidman, man. I'm going to go with Marc-Andre, man. I can't. If you're losing to Chris Weidman, bro, I don't give a you're horrible. You're horrible. Brad Katona taking on Bekzat Almakhan. Is that it? Where is this fight at? Here it is. Bekzat opened at 260 and he immediately went down for good reason because Brad Katona is good. Brad Katona goes out there, puts up a hell of a fight against Gene Matsumoto, whoops Jesse Butler's ass. Good fight with Garrett Armfield. This guy can't finish fights, and that is what it is. When you look at Brad Katona, he's tough. He's durable. He has good boxing. He has good wrestling. You got to beat this guy pretty much on the feet. And I'm not sure I know much about Bekzat Almakhan, except that he dropped Umar. He made his debut on short notice. He fought in Octagon, so he's probably a pretty good fighter. I'm just going to have to go back and watch him. So for this fight, man, I'm just going to go with Brad Katona, but I am going to have to go watch him because I don't know that much about Almakhan, except he got wrestled by Umar, which I don't know. I can't really say anything about that. So anyways, oh my goodness, this is why is this fight? I mean, Aiemann Zahabi, 37-year-old prospect, taking on Jose Aldo. I never thought there'd be a day where I ever put Aiemann Zahabi and Jose Aldo in the same sentence, but here we are. Zahabi, he's got a weird, boring style. He just picks his shots. He's decent. He's accurate. Good takedown defense. Don't think we'll see this fight hit the mat. My goodness. It's just such a weird matchup. He's on a pretty solid win streak here. Arichi Lang knocked him out pretty solid. Javid Basharat, fraud checked him there. Pedro Munoz, great performance there. He pretty much fucked Pedro Munoz up. What are the odds here? Jose Aldo's minus 215. I'm going to go with Aldo. I just think he's much better. When it comes to boxing, Aldo should be able to win this fight. That's what, Aiemann Zahabi's going to look to do. I know Aiemann Zahabi's got that wide stance, so maybe we'll see Aldo attack those legs, which he's very good at. He still has looked solid in these performances. Mario Bautista looked pretty good there, just kind of lost the fight because he can't get off the fence. The same deal. The same exact thing with Merab. So I think that Jose Aldo is going to win this fight. Aiemann Zahabi could be a potential, underdog spot, but overall, to me, Aldo's he's much better. Much more variety and diversity in his shots. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board on that, of course, like all of them. But anyways, let's get right into the other one. I'll be going with Jose Aldo. And the next fight is going to be Natalia Silva taking on Alexa Grasso. Man, I think Natalia Silva wins this. What are the odds? Yeah, Natalia Silva's minus 220. I thought Grasso looked like shit in her last fight. Silva, she's got a great kicking game. She's very fast. She's very, good footwork, good at moving in and out. Grasso, to me, man, I think she's overrated. Alexa Grasso, I think her boxing's kind of mediocre. She's got 0 finishes in the UFC by knockout, right? I think maybe 1. I don't know. I think her boxing's pretty mediocre. You know what I mean? And she's gonna have a hard time closing the distance. She got controlled by Valentina, dominated by Valentina, and I just don't think she's all that great. Now Natalia Silva's been on a roll here. We'll see how Grasso does because I actually think Andrade looked pretty good in this fight. But Grasso's got to move forward. She's got to be willing to get inside the pocket and maybe take this fight down. But Silva's got very good takedown defense. I'm going with Natalia Silva by decision. And we'll go to the co-main event. Manon Fiorot taking on Valentina Shevchenko. Now, Manon has been taking her time to get this title defense. But Manon's very good, man. I just don't think – I think Manon's just better, man. I don't think that Valentina's able to take this fight down. Manon's very big. She's strong. She's a – what is she? A former kickboxer, I think. I just think Valentina's – she was relying on such a wrestling-heavy approach last fight, and she hasn't looked that great on the feet. She's still very fast. She's still very explosive – or very fast. She's – not the best. She's just not in her prime, man. I'm going to go with Manon here, man. Obviously, got to go to the drawing board. But Manon will be my pick to win this one. And we'll go to the main event. Belal Muhammad taking on Jack Della Maddalena. Belal's going to be minus 220. If you know me, man, I'm a huge Belal Muhammad fan. I love his game. Such a dog, been winning me a lot of money. And I'll be honest with you. I like Jack Della Maddalena as well. I really do. I think both these guys are my top 15 favorite fighters. Belal's minus 220. I don't like that. I just think this is a close matchup. It is a tight matchup just because of how aggressive and good Jack is. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make a video about this, as you know. But man, this is a tight fight. It should be a very fun fight. It's gonna be interesting, because you got a striker versus grappler, and Belal's been looking very good as of recent. I think I'm gonna tell you guys in the next video who I'm picking, and I think this is a hell of a fight though, and I think it's closer than the odds suggest. These wins. The Basil Hafez won, just some mistakes from Maddalena, and the Gilbert won a very good win there. This is a tight fight, man. But I'm going to lean towards my boy Belal. I'll tell you who I'm picking. But yeah, man, that's going to wrap it up for me. Hope y'all enjoyed, and official predictions are coming out Wednesday.